Hi guys, welcome to the Fighters channel. Apparently, Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua, as planned, will hold their rematch for the IBF, WBO, WBA belts in the spring, and the WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury will fight with the temporary champion Dillian White. At least this is what Joshua and White's promoter Eddie Hearn almost confidently says. When asked by a correspondent the situation in the Joshua-Usyk-White triangle has become clearer since last week, the promoter replied, "Yes, of course, the news that the WBC ordered Fury to start negotiations with White effectively put an end to discussions about compensation for Joshua. The promoter of the WBC World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury advised the temporary champion Dillian White to moderate his fee if he wants to get a fight with Gypsy King. White's side strongly hoped that the council would appoint him as a mandatory challenger for Fury, but Mauricio Suleiman's organization say that first there will be arbitration on Dillian's lawsuit against the WBC. Thus, White did himself a disservice by filling him for the protected non-segment of his title fight. The owner of the WBC heavyweight belt Tyson Fury says that he doesn't care at all whether he will fight for the informal status of the absolute champion or not. The Gypsy King claims that he has enough of the current status of the alleged fighter, #1 in the division. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard absolutely every day and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. White's side strongly hope that the council would appoint him as a mandatory challenger for Fury, but Mauricio Suleiman's organization say that first there will be arbitration on Dillian's lawsuit against the WBC. Thus, White did himself a disservice by filling him for the protected, now a segment of his title fight. Meanwhile, Warren hinted that Dillian could have got his chance if he had not sued, but went to Fury's terms on the prize fund section. Tyson insists on 85-15 or 80-20 in his favor. The promoter of the contender Eddie Hearn considers this outrageous and believes that 45 would suit them. Warren told TalkSport, "I think White is fighting for the section of the prize pool he needs, but Tyson is driving. He is a champion, he fought hard to get to where he is now. He didn't have easy fights. Of course, a fighter always wants to be paid coolly. I understand, but if you are as good as you think you are, then come out and win, then you will be at the town yourself," says the promoter. He could have done it against Anthony Joshua, but refused $4 or $5 million. I look at it and say, so where are your ambitions? We will not bend under you. According to media reports in a rematch in Povetkin, White earned £4 million, and Fury got only 5 times more guaranteed for the third fight with Wilder. Fury is going to return to the ring in late February or early March. When asked by a correspondent the situation in the Joshua-Usyk-White triangle has become clearer since last week, the promoter replied, "Yes, of course. The news that the WBC ordered Fury to start negotiations with White effectively put an end to discussions about compensation for Joshua, unless something like that is drawn in the next week or two. As of now, it looks very likely that there will be fights between Fury White and Joshua Usyk," Hearn said. However, he says Top Rank's proposal to split the prize pool of 18% for Fury and 20% for White is unacceptable, and negotiations are underway to tighten their proportion to the ideal for the temporary WBC champion White, 55-45 in the favor of Tyson, according to him. He came to UAE to discuss with the local business the possibility of organizing these fights there. Meanwhile, Eddie clarified that there is a good chance that they will take place in Britain. Recall that all other titles are owned by Alexander Usyk. Here, there is such a chance will become Fury's next opponent, but the latter doesn't care about collecting belts. Yes, shit on my belts. I have said this many times and for many years. It was Joshua who constantly wanted to be the absolute. I will be the absolute. I am a little pussy. Such things are very important to me. Fury said in an interview. I just need to fight with someone, and it doesn't matter if it's for 1,000,000 titles or not. It's all crap. I'm the WBC champion, and according to the Ring magazine, that's all I care about. I'm not really interested in other titles, to be honest. I've conquered them all before, and all these unions. This, according to Tyson, he is already the greatest fighter of my era, and whether all 4 belts will be in fight with Usyk or not, he doesn't care. Even without a single belt, I will still be #1 in the division, he added. Despite the fact that the WBC ordered its heavyweight champion Tyson Fury to defend the title against the interim champion Dillian White, this fight will not necessarily take place. Fury's promoter Frank Warren hinted at this in conversation with TalkSport. There is no date for a possible match yet, and the negotiations apparently are still at an uncharted stage, if at all. The main goal of Tyson, is the functionary said, is to fight with Alexander Usyk for the status of the absolute champion in heavyweight. And right now, Warren explained that he and Fury are waiting to see if Anthony Joshua will take compensation money, giving to the go-ahead for such a fight. They didn't tell us when the fight with White was going to take place. So far, the WBC has just asked us to start negotiations. Well, let's get started, Frank Warren said. Now we are all working hard on the Fury-Usyk meeting and trying to encourage Joshua to step aside. We need to find out where this will lead. For me, the worst case scenario is Tyson meeting Dillian. If he fights Dillian, it will most likely be in the early March. And here, Fury wants to fight Usyk right away for obvious reasons. Belts and more money are at stake. If Anthony doesn't step aside and the Fury-Usyk fight is agreed, Tyson will probably even go for the loss of the WBC belt if he doesn't agree with the council about the delay. He would like to fight Usyk, but if it's going to be White, it's going to be White. Tyson will still be preparing for this fight, as if it were Joe Frazier or Muhammad Ali. That's his mentality. The British champion, meanwhile, called Joshua to action. 40 million to beat Usyk. Anthony, however, threatened Hearn about the Usyk-Fury fight. In fact, it requires Eddie to knock around some out of opponents. British WBC World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury gave an interview. In the conversation, Tyson commented on the decision of the World Boxing Council to start negotiations on a fight against the interim WBC champion Dillian White. Also, the champion spoke in the 12th form about the bloggers boxers Paul brothers. Recall that recently, due to an injury to the Briton, the fight of Tyson prospect's brother, light heavyweight Tommy Fury, against Jake Paul broke down. The WBC has officially appointed Dillian White as your mandatory challenger. How many days has he been my mandatory applicant? 1. Therefore, welcome to the big world of the Gypsy King. He is finally going to get his chance. He is against you now, when you or everyone expected him to come out against Wilder. What do you think of Dillian? I've known Dillian for a long time. We've come a long way. He has improved a lot over the last few years, but the result will always be the same. I will knock him out. If this fight happens, I will knock him out. When do you expect this fight? I have no idea. I want to return in February-March, but I need to talk to Frank Warren or Bob Arum about it, because I'm not involved in dates and stuff like that. I just get the date, whatever it is, and get ready for the fight. That's all I do. Is there still a chance that you will fight against Usyk if Joshua takes compensation, or are you currently focusing solely on Dillian White? I don't focus on any of them. I'm not interested in what they do. They're all bums out of the box. As far as I know, they can fight among themselves or do anything. I don't care about that. As I say, their promoters do the fights, and I just show up. Take the check and knock the bastard out. As always, it's just nothing. Another day at the office. I don't care if it's Dillian White, Usyk, Joshua or Wilder. Whoever is next, the result will be the same, Fury said. Tomorrow you were supposed to fly to the Tommy Fury-Jake Paul fight, but unfortunately Tommy broke a rib. Such things happen in life, we need to get over it. Shit happens. I've missed a big fight and a big fees myself. I somehow lost the fight because of virus 10 days before the fight. I've had a lot of fights in the past. Or is this? I'm not really worried about that, Tyson Fury said. Thanks for watching guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.